Okay, so we're in week 14 of typography, and I have an exercise called the Bill of Rights. And I have exercise files that are zipped that you guys will need to pull off of Blackboard, and it's in the week 14 folder. So I'm right-clicking on here, and I'm saving the link as exercise 1, files for students, and I'm going to take mine to my desktop. You might want to take yours to your flash drive. I also have here a place to turn in your exercise when it's completed. It says InDesign exercise, Bill of Rights, turn in exercise here. You could do that outside of class time as soon as you're finished with it, or in class time. It's ready. This will be due by next Monday, which is April 25th, 1 o'clock. So this is due before the start of class. I expect to be printed and turned in, and the print will need to have your name on it. Okay. So let's go into, let me get to the desktop here. I've got my zip file here. I'm going to double click on it to expand it. Now I have a folder. And it does have some fonts here. You could use other typefaces if you wanted. Right now I've got Arial Black and Baskerville. But you can use anything you want as long as we can get the type to fit. So you do not have to use these fonts. In fact, I encourage you to play with other fonts. It's just healthy to play with fonts, isn't it? But I'm going to start with Arial Black and Baskerville just because they're here. All right. So I've loaded Arial and Baskerville through the Suitcases Fusion. So if you want to play with fonts, you can always find any font and load it. You guys already know that. I didn't cover this Suitcase Fusion thing in this video because we've not gone over that many times. So I loaded and activated my fonts. There's a PDF here. If I double click on it, this is more or less what this PDF, what your design is going to look like, possibly with different fonts. But we will have a big headline. We will have, for each article of the Bill of Rights, we will have a bold or heavier sort of thing going on. We will have this actual description for the article. It will be indented from that. And we will also have some sort of decorative line between these paragraphs. That's called a paragraph rule. And I will also share with you how to deal with type within a shape, such as this box, and how to offset the type from the edges so that it doesn't go right to the edge and be all claustrophobic looking. So we give it a little padding. So this is kind of what it will look like in the end. And again, it doesn't matter. You can use different fonts here. I encourage it. So I'm going to kind of have that down there ready to go. Here we have the Microsoft Word document, which has the typeset matter in it, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Microsoft Word before we go into InDesign while I have this open. I will tell you that oftentimes I get Word documents from my clients and they're just a hot mess. They make them look pretty and they do all sorts of spacing. They'll do this. They'll go, let's see, I'm going to hit the return key here. I'm going to hit the space bar until that lines up about there. Then they hit the return key here, and they hit the space bar until that lines up about there. And they'll do that on the whole stinking document. And Dom has had this experience before with a client providing him Word documents, and it usually, what I do is I clean all their junk out. How do I know what kind of junk do they have in there? Well, in the Word document, I can click on the backward P symbol, which is the invisible characters, and where it has dots, I can see that they've done the space bar. The dot is, every time the space bar was hit is a dot. And over here, these little guys, these arrows right here, those guys indicate that the return key has been hit. And thank you to Alicia for my pointer. It's awesome. So these are returns, and these are spaces. Does anybody know what this little arrow here is? Tab. Yes, the tab. Okay? Now, I'm okay with the tab, so I'm going to leave that one there. But I'm not okay with all this extra stuff. Now, sometimes what I will do is if the client was being just super generous and going ahead and doing some formatting and using styles, I'll even strip that out. It takes me on average about 8 minutes per page. That's what I charge. I charge them for this. Time is money. So I have figured, based off my experience, it depends on the page, because sometimes it's really complicated and sometimes it's simple. But I charge a minimum of 8 minutes per page to clear out their formatting. 8 minutes when you have 100 pages is how many minutes? A lot of minutes. Okay? Should you charge for a lot of minutes? That's 8,000 minutes. And 8,000 minutes is how many hours? I don't even want to figure it. But let's say we had 10 pages. At 8 minutes a page, that's 80 minutes. That's almost an hour and a half.
It's 133 hours.
Yeah. Whoa, that's a lot of minutes. Whoa.
What's your hourly rate?
$75 an hour. That's pretty reasonable. My consulting fee, though, is much higher.
What's your consulting fee?
Well, this wouldn't be consulting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you guys get a real good deal on these classes because my consulting fee is pretty high. You guys don't want to know. You don't want to know. We're not going to go there because I'm recording a video. Okay, so I'm going to, now let's say they did set some styles in here and somebody was being really, generous with doing that. There is a styles panel here in Microsoft Word, which we are going to visit here now and again in a minute. What I do is I select all and I clear the formatting. Select all and click clear formatting. Yes, I charge 8 minutes for that, but that's usually more than that. Okay, so clear all the formatting because that stuff, any formatting is done here will really screw you up in InDesign unless you've done the formatting knowing what you're doing. Now, I will be deleting, though. Clearing formatting does not delete actual characters. Okay, spacebar is a character. Return is a character. So I have to physically go in there and delete those. This is where that 8 minutes kind of comes into play. So I am going to physically go in and delete anything that I don't need. So I go in with my cursor, I highlight all those extra spacebar, 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 I delete it, plus I need to also delete to the point where I get rid of that return symbol that was back there. So that little arrow. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to delete until I get rid of that return symbol. Okay? So I dirtied up that text just a little bit to show you what a client might supply you because clients think they're doing you enormous favors by making the Word documents look pretty. Here's another thing a client will do is they'll put pictures in here and they'll swear to God that they've sent you all the images. You can put pictures in Word. You can tell it to input, like insert a picture here. And clients always say, well, I gave you the pictures. You're like, no, you gave me no pictures. Yes, they're in the Word file. Oh, no, you placed a picture that you found off the internet, which you don't own, into the Word document, and there's no link to that. I don't know where you got it. You probably don't own it. And here's how this works legally, and here's how it works technically. So you oftentimes have to tell a client you cannot just pluck images off the internet and call them yours. And putting them into Word is not the same thing as supplying me a digital file for just that image. And clients have a real hard time getting around that idea because they didn't go to graphics school, and nor do we want them to because that's why they're paying us $75 an hour, or me. Yes.
Because other cultural difference, because my client was from Egypt, I think that even like ratified.
Yeah, if you're dealing with international, you have a whole language barrier thing. So you're trying to explain something, and it's really difficult for them to understand fully. It gets really, it's hard enough for us to understand who are raised in this culture, let alone when we start mixing people internationally. But it's a global economy, so we have to figure out a way to communicate. Okay, so the first thing I did was clear all the formatting. Let me walk through that again. I just selected all, and this is the styles pane. I'll call it a panel because everything else is called panels. I click on the styles pane, and I did a select all here, and I clicked on clear formatting. That was the first thing I did. And then that's the first thing I always do when a client gives me the document. And then I got rid of any extra spaces or whatever. Okay, I never save over my client Microsoft Word documents. Why do I not do that? Why don't I just go ahead and save this versus saving it as a different name? I haven't saved it yet, but I will save as. I will not save it over what is already given to me. Why not? Why am I going to File, Save As, and calling it a different name? I want to have the original. Have you guys ever had the term cover your ASS? You've heard that term, right? I have had to go back to client-supplied Word documents and tell them, no, the typo was in the thing that you gave me. Here it is. It's original. It's its date. It even says it was created on your machine. I did not touch it. I did not save it. It's called documentation, covering your rear end. So I do not save over the client Microsoft Word documents, ever. I save it as a different name. I put my name on it. Bill of Rights, text, Rebecca. And I'm going to put it into my folder. Never save over your client Word documents. Or at least have a copy of them somewhere that you can access easily. A lot of times they email them to you, which is really nice. Then you've got it, assuming your email doesn't go crashing. Okay, now while we're in Microsoft Word, we are going to actually do a little bit of formatting. Not everything we need to do in InDesign, because this is not necessarily what we're going to use to design it, but we are going to set some things up so that it makes it easier in InDesign. We only have one headline here, so I'm not going to worry about formatting him or giving him any sort of style, but we're going to actually use paragraph styles here in Word, set them here, and then when we bring them over to InDesign, all we have to do is edit them and it's really super, super simple. So I'm going to make this as painless as possible. And I'm talking paragraph styles. I'm not going to be doing character styles till I get into InDesign. It's just the efforts will be too futile. So let's say this first paragraph, Article 1, I just did a few clicks and it grabbed the whole paragraph. Let's say I want this, gosh, this is going to be pretty easy today. I'm going to make this a paragraph style, but I'm going to call it my own thing, okay? I don't want to call it heading or subheading or subtitle emphasis or subtle emphasis or emphasis. That doesn't make any sense to me. These predetermined names over here, those don't mean a thing. Now, what we do want to pay attention to, though, if we were going to use these, is the backwards P. Which does it stand for? Paragraph or character style? It's backwards P1. All of these. Paragraph. What's this little A one for? Those are character styles, okay? Character styles are something I don't use too much in Word. I mean, I can. I just wait to get it in InDesign. We're going to use paragraph styles. Now, let's say you don't have to change this font or anything here, okay? The font doesn't matter. But let's create a new style. Oh, after select all was click on clear formatting. That's just something you want to get in the habit of when anybody gives you a Word document, because their formatting is not going to be what you desire. Okay. If it won't let you select all and clear the formatting?
Well, I'm clicking on clear format. It's not doing it.
Okay, it then went back to normal. Okay, that's fine. Because when you clear formatting, what's happening is Sandra's confused, and I can get it because I saw it do it too, and I just didn't mention it. When you hit clear formatting, it automatically just makes it a normal style. So she's like, nothing's happening. It goes to, because that's blue, that's normal, okay? So when you clear formatting, it automatically labels it normal, and you'll see a little light blue line around the word normal here, okay? So don't fret. It did do something, believe it or not. And maybe it didn't. Maybe everything was already cleared. Okay, so you want to click how many times on it to get the paragraph? 3, I think. It's 3 here in Microsoft Word to get that paragraph. And we are going to we're going to create a new paragraph style here, but you got to name it something that is meaningful to you and relates to what we're doing here. So we're going to create new style in the paragraph style. So we highlight that text and we say new style, please. And we get this window that comes up. Don't call it style 1 because you'll get lost in all this stuff. Let's just call this, you know what we're going to call it? We're going to call it article description, because the majority of this text is the description of the article. So let's say we say article description. article description. And basically what it's doing is it's saying, oh, you want Times New Roman 12 and all that stuff. Yeah, for now that's all I don't care. I just want to create a style and name it. And then when you're done naming it, you hit OK. Okay? Now, unfortunately, even though this is highlighted, this text is highlighted, you would think that Microsoft would know that you wanted that text to be an article description. But you can see over here in the control panel, normal is still got the blue line around it. Okay, it'd be nice if they turned the whole thing blue, but this paragraph here has blue line. It says, oh, you're a normal style. So what we have to do is we have to say, you are an article description. So you have to click on this style, this paragraph style, after you make it from the paragraph that you chose. It's kind of inefficient, but it's just the way Microsoft is working. Now, what we might want to go ahead and do is we're going to zoom out, and to zoom out in Microsoft Word, down the very lower right-hand corner down here, there is a zoomer, and so we can zoom down a little bit so you can see all that text all the way through Article 10. And we are going to highlight, this is going to be a click and drag because we do not need the headline. We're highlighting all of the articles, 1 through 10, and we're going to make them all article descriptions. Okay, so click on the article description paragraph style after you highlight all of articles 1 through 10. Okay? I think that's all I'm going to have us do in Word. Now, I suppose I could share with you in Word, let's say all of a sudden you decided, I don't want that to be Times New Roman because we all know Times is, just a default. And so if you wanted to change the font here, you could. You can just simply edit the paragraph style by double-clicking on it. So I'm going to while this text is selected, articles 1 through 10, I double-click on the article description. Oops, I'm sorry, that's an InDesign thing. I click on the arrow to the right of the article description, and I tell it to modify the style. We'd simply double-click in InDesign. Here we have to click on an arrow and go to Modify Style. If you don't want Times for your font, you can choose a different font here. Maybe we want to do Caslon Pro. Does anybody know anything about Caslon? Benjamin Franklin used it to set the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence was handwritten, but the first typeset one was set by Benjamin Franklin, and it was done in Caslon. So I'm going to use Caslon because it's very relative, even though this is not the Declaration of Independence. It's relative to that kind of thing. And if you wanted to, you could also change the point size. Oh, well, it's not letting me, so I'm not going to worry about it. Should let me, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to hit OK. And now this is no longer Times. It's now Caslon. Now, you don't have to use Caslon. I'm just telling you that you can change fonts here. Should be able to change point sizes as well, but I'm not sure why it's not.
You have to actually type it in.
Oh, type the point size in?
Yes.
Oh, it shouldn't be that way, should it?
Right. No,
Let's go to Modify Style. And what she's learned is you have to actually tell it, hey, I want 10 points typed there instead of choosing from the drop-down menu. Yeah, that's kind of silly. It shouldn't be doing that, but that's what it's doing. So I just changed that to Adobe Caslon Pro 10 point. I hit OK. There you go. It affects every single one of those because those are, they are styled after this article description. Even the article description looks like it's 10 point Caslon. So it even changes it, and you can kind of see what it's going to look like. Okay, so once you do that, we can save this. And now, make sure you don't save over the original. I did not. Mine is Bill of Rights text Rebecca. So now I can just go Command S. I'll save over that, but I won't save over the one the client gave me. Now I'm ready to move on to InDesign. Do not copy and paste from Microsoft Word to InDesign. Do not do it. Here's why. It will not carry over these paragraph styles, and you will have to work harder. I like the idea of working smarter, not harder, so you're going to close Microsoft Word. We don't need it anymore. And we're going to open InDesign. Now, InDesign is going to take a little bit to open. If you do not have it scheduled to open as soon as you log in, I have mine scheduled to open as soon as I log in. This is going to be a simple format. When we create the new document, it's going to be 8.5 by 11, which is letter size. So normally I use keyboard shortcut of Command N for new, but you can also go down to File, New Document. This is not a facing pages document, so we'll turn that off. It is a letter size document. That's fine. And margins, I don't know what they are. I'll start with what they have, which is 3 picas all the way around, a 1/2 inch. We'll see how that works for us. If it doesn't work very well, we can change it. So we'll just, all we had to do is turn off facing pages here. And I'm going to hit OK.
You said we just, you didn't change anything? Just facing pages?
Just turned off facing pages. Yes, ma'am. Hit OK, and I have me a new InDesign document. There it is. Now, since we do not copy and paste, what would we do to get the text from Word into InDesign? File, place, which preferably we would use the keyboard shortcut because we're working smarter, not harder. File, place is where we would go if we can't remember. But Command D is the keyboard shortcut for place. Okay, Command D. But you could go to File and Place. It's grayed out now because I have the window open. And now I'm going to go find my stuff. Oh my goodness. I got a lot of stuff on here. So this is going to be exercise 1. Files for students, thank you. I need to rename that folder because I got real confused there. You might want to rename your folder, I don't even know why it's called exercise 1 because we've done other exercises. But rename that something that you understand. And thank you, Sean. I was confused for a moment. I'm going to grab my Bill of Rights text document, click on it rather, and I'm going to hit open. And then I'll have what's called a loaded cursor. You don't have to click and drag here. You can just click in the upper pink box. This is our margins. And it will automatically know to create the text box that large and import the text. Okay? No clicking and dragging necessary. It's working smarter for us as well. I did notice on the PDF something that was a little disturbing based off of something I've been telling you from day one not to do or to do. If I zoom into this, can you at all see anything here that I've told you to constantly get rid of this semester? What? Hyphens. Uh-oh. I don't want hyphenated stuff here, okay? This example here is incorrect. You guys know I told you from the beginning of the semester, I don't want to see any hyphens from you guys. Okay, so I got to kill those hyphens, don't I? So let me go back to InDesign. Excuse me. I'm going to grab my type tool, and I'm going to put it into this text box. If I click 5 times, it grabs the whole story, or I can just hit Command A. Command A is select all. And then tell it not to hyphenate. So go to your backwards P, which is your paragraph formatting, and make sure hyphenation is unchecked. Now mine was actually unchecked because probably the last document I worked on it was unchecked. Okay. Now we're going to zoom in to this first paragraph. And we'll deselect here. We don't need all this stuff selected. Let me get my windows a little bit more managed here. There we go. Now, if we're working with typography, hold on, I want to see if it did something. Oh, it looks like defense is spelled wrong. You guys see that? See how it's red underlined? Is yours red underlined on your InDesign? Right here, defense. Is yours underlined? Do you see any red underlines?
No.
No, because you don't have dynamic spelling turned on, but I do. You guys want dynamic spelling, don't you? You should leave this on all the time. And this is why mine is red and yours is not. I leave it on all the time. To turn on dynamic spelling, you would click on Edit and then go down to Spelling, which is about, 8 or 9 items up from the bottom. And then a little flyout menu pops up, and you want to go ahead and do dynamic spelling. And what it will do is it won't autocorrect. You never want things autocorrecting because it'll rename things. You know what autocorrecting does. It puts bad words in there when you didn't want to and wrong words, and it's really awkward. So I just do the dynamic spelling, and it will underline anything that's questionable. And in this case, defense is questionable, and I can right-click on that word, and I can choose the right spelling of that word, assuming the dictionary has it. The dictionary library for InDesign doesn't have every word under the sun, but it certainly did have defense. So I'm like, ooh, that was a bad thing. I'm glad we got that out of our way. I better save this document. So I'm going to save this document, and I'm going to call it my last name, my first name, and Bill of Rights. And I don't know how to spell my name, but there we go. I put it in that same folder, and I'm going to rename that folder here eventually, because Files for Students gets me lost. Okay. So we kill the hyphens, which probably were already killed because you guys already had that set on your InDesign, but you guys didn't have your dynamic spelling on. Now, when I'm working with paragraph styles, I will change up my panels over here, these palettes. And right now, these are just the general ones. But you actually want the typography ones. So up here in the upper right-hand corner, it says Essentials. Very upper right-hand corner. And it's right next to the search bar. If you click on the arrow next to Essentials and then you choose Typography, you will get the paragraph styles, character styles. You'll get all the stuff that's really critical to setting typography well. You don't have to go to Window and find all this stuff, okay? It's all right here. Now, I don't really need gradients or strokes, so I am going to park that over there or hide it. There we go. Now, one of the first things I want to talk about here is how did we get this line around this box, and what's the process for doing that? And many people might think, well, I'm going to draw a box and put it in the back, and then my type, I'll make it in the front, and I'll make the box smaller. Well, that's okay. That's functional. But if you want to work smarter, not harder, here is how we do this. First, we are going to go to the strokes panel, and we are going to select what weight we want this stroke. So right now I'm just using 4-point weight. And where it says weight, I just clicked on the arrow and I found 4 points. You can use whatever points you want. I just grabbed 4. You could use 7 or 8 if you wanted to. Your choice. And then in the type area or field, right now the type of line is just a straight black line. So what I would choose maybe is something different. And you guys can choose a dotted line, a dashed line, whatever line you want. Okay? Just choose a line. Anything other than the straight, regular old line. Okay? So we just put a stroke around this box and whatever point size you want. Okay? This is where you have a little freedom. Now, the type is going right to the edge of this box, is it not? Look at that. Oh, so crowded. So claustrophobic. Yuck. We need to add padding. Now, this box is still selected. Make sure, whoops. Oh, this page tool always gets me. I just don't like it. Get away, page tool. That's a new tool, fairly new tool. We'll select this with our black arrow tool, known as the selection tool. And to get the type to have padding, you would go to Object, text frame options, which is about halfway down. The keyboard shortcut is Command B. I use Command B all the time for this because I've been doing this a long time and I don't have time to go to Object, Text Frame Options. Command B, you might think, oh, well, border, but it's really about the text in the border. Command B, Text Frame Options. And here, we can have what's called, now, many people call it padding. InDesign calls it inset spacing. Right here it says inset spacing. So I'm going to set my inset spacing at least 1 pica all the way around. Now, assuming your link is connected, it will make all the measurements the same. Okay? And you will see that there's a little blue line, and that's a non-printable line, a little blue line that tells you where the text is going to align to, and you can see that it's moved away from the edge. Thank you, InDesign. That looks good. I hit OK, and I hit Command S to save. Anytime I do something of any significance, I hit Command S. It's just a natural thing I do anymore. So I'm hitting Command S sometimes 20 times within a half an hour. It's crazy. All right, we're ready to start formatting. All right, you notice how I zoomed in and it got me exactly what I told it to zoom into? I do not do this with the zoom tool. I do not go click, 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 and chase the thing and click, okay? That's gonna be all day. You might notice that what I did with the zoom tool is I clicked and dragged over the area that I'm ready to work on, and it snaps it right to that area in Zoom, okay? So to be efficient with the Zoom tool, I just click and drag over area, it pops in there. This is assuming Scrubby Zoom is not turned on, and in this case, InDesign does not have Scrubby Zoom because Scrubby Zoom is the work of Satan. Scrubby Zoom's horrible. You guys might like it, but I don't care for it. It just makes me mad. If you use a type tool to draw the box, you're going to get a type box. You're not going to get a zoom. So you need to hit Command Z or delete that box. You must be in the zoom tool to be able to zoom in. That's a good question. So if you drew a text box, delete that text box, get your zoom tool, and zoom in. Okay. Bill of Rights. Should I click and drag like this to get that headline? No. What should I be doing? 3 or 4 times. Yeah. 3 times gets a line, 4 times gets a paragraph. Well, this is a line and a paragraph, isn't it? So 3 times is good for this. 4 would work as well. This type is centered, at least in my layout. What's the keyboard shortcut for centering? Oh, it's been a while, hasn't it? I'll give you the first 2, and you can guess the third one. Wait, he's got it.
Command Shift C.
Yes. Shift Command C or Command Shift C. Shift Command and C is for centered. Oh, you guys remember that now, don't you? What if I want it left aligned? Shift Command L. What if I want it right aligned?
R.
Shift Command R. What if I want it justified?
J.
Shift Command J. No, this won't really do anything because it's not a big long line of type. So Shift Command C for centered. Use it enough, you won't lose it. We just haven't used it enough, have we? This needs to be fairly sizable. Now here's how I design. I do not go, oh gee, I wonder if that is 16-point type. I don't care. I do it till it looks good. So here's what I do. I do this. Okay, that looks good. Now, what did I do to do that, you say? What did I do? I can also go the other way. Up or down. Taylor, you know? Oh, but she wants to know. She's like, yeah, pick me. I want to know. Tell me, please. This is Shift Command. Greater than or lesser than. Yes. Period or comma. Greater than or lesser than is on the period or comma key. Shift Command greater than, but of course the type has to be highlighted. Shift Command greater than makes it bigger. Shift Command lesser than makes it smaller. But you have to have the type selected with the type tool. Shift Command greater than, Shift Command lesser than. Those make all the difference in you going home at 5 o'clock and having a nice evening, or you staying here till midnight and not having a nice evening. Time is money, and time is quality of life, right? All right, for me, I was going to make this Arial because that's the font I had loaded. So I need to go ahead and make this Arial, extra black maybe. Let's see which one I loaded. Ooh, I'm way up back in the, I'm in the S's. Let's start typing Arial in there. Arial bold. Yeah, sure, why not? You can do whatever typeface you want, as long as it looks good. Oh, and all Arials are not created equally. Comic Sans? The Bill of Rights and Comic Sans, yeah. Bill of Rights. No wonder nobody takes them seriously. And they're sending Comic Sans. Can you imagine reading the Bill of Rights like a clown? Because that's what Comic Sans looks like.
There was a burger store or burger place that had Comic Sans in the neighborhood. So
Can't take them seriously, can we?
they actually closed down.
Yeah, nobody took them seriously. All right, so we have the Bill of Rights set. I don't like that. I think it's a little weak, but I may choose a different typeface. Yeah, I'm not happy with that. Not at all. So, sorry, Arial, I loaded you. Oh, Arial Black. There we go. That's, oh, yeah. Well, why am I using Arial anyway? Arial is a bastardized version of what? Helvetica. Oh, shame on me for using Arial. I should be using Helvetica New. Because that's just how professionals roll. Helvetica New, extra black, and I haven't loaded the Helvetica New, so this is what's already preloaded, which probably doesn't have all of them in here. I can't even get it to open right. Let's try to get it to open right. Okay, condensed black, that's what I'm going to use. That's because we don't have extra black loaded. I don't have all of the Helveticas loaded. I still think that's weak. Okay. So you do whatever you want there. Guys, it doesn't have to be Helvetica Extra Black. Just make it good. And please no Comic Sans or Papyrus. Or Times. Or Bee's Knees. Or Joker MT. Or there's a whole list of them. No Bleeding Cowboys. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4 clicks got me that paragraph. Now I am ready to format this text. But please do not use anything up here in your control panel to do anything on here. This is what we're used to using, but we've already created a paragraph style. We do not use anything up here after we create a paragraph style. Let's go to our paragraph styles. And assuming you switched from essentials to typography here, your paragraph styles should be hanging out on your dock. 3 items up from the bottom over here on your panels. Click on that. Oh my, look. Article description came over from the Word document. If I had copied and pasted from Microsoft Word, that would not have been so. This is why we do not copy and paste from Word. This is why I've told you all along. Do not copy and paste from Word. It brought over this article description paragraph style. If I want to change anything on this type, I have to do it right here through the paragraph style. And it's super easy. Guys, this is one-stop shopping. It's fabulous. It looks a little daunting when I open it, but it's fabulous. Double-click on the description. Of course, your text has to be highlighted here. Double-click on that description. And oh my, this is fabulous. Everything you can do to format any sort of paragraph stuff is right here. Right here. This is fabulous. I kind of move it off to the side a little bit and I hit preview because I want to see, nothing's going to happen when I hit preview because I haven't changed anything. But I hit preview because I want to see any changes that I'm making. I want to see it live on my text. So, basic character formats. Let's go here. Basic character formats. Do you really want Adobe Caslon Pro or Times New Roman or whatever? Nah, let's change it up, shall we? Let's choose a different font. Comic Sans, of course. Look, it made them all Comic Sans, not just the one I highlighted. They're all Comic Sans. You know why they're all Comic Sans? Because all of them are styled after that paragraph style, which that paragraph style is called article description. Oh my gosh, this is going to make this exercise super uber easy, isn't it? You can literally take hundreds of pages of stuff and in split seconds be done with it if you do this correctly. Please do not use Comic Sans though. Let's maybe, I don't know, Gil Sans. Oh, Gil, no, Eric Gil. He probably should. Not appropriate. If you read about him, he was very unusual.
Very.
Yes, very. You have read. Oh, I don't know what that is. That's pretty. All right. So whatever font you want, except for Comic Sans, and technically no Arial either. If I want to change the point size of this or the leading, I can do that. I'm like, oh, let me get a little bit more leading. That's nice. Do I want the point size to be 10 or do I want it to be 11? There you go, 11. That's nice. That's a little big. Whatever you want. It just depends on the font. All right. You could hit OK. Sure, why not? Let's see what it looks like. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Command minus zooms out. I'm like, okay, I got a lot of space that I got to fill up. Well, don't worry, we'll deal with that in just a second. Now, I normally don't hit OK at that point because I want to do some more edits to my formatting. So I just wanted to see the effect on the entire page. Now, I'm going to double click on article description again. Of course, I need to have my cursor. You don't have to have all the text highlighted, by the way. I just do it for visual effect. You can just simply have your cursor in that paragraph. Okay, I just do this so you can see where I'm at. So I'm going to double click on this description again. Okay, so the basic character formats, you could bold things, you could do all sorts of stuff. Advanced character formats, what's that? Well, we probably don't need to do anything there. No horizontal and vertical scaling. That's skewing your text. Remember how I say quit stretching your graphics? If these are two different numbers, you stretch your graphics. So this I don't typically use at all. Indents and spacing. I might use some of this in a minute. Actually, let's use it now because I want to explain something. In the PDF provided, it had, let me cancel this and bring it up. You don't have to cancel. I'm going to bring up the PDF. In the PDF provided, this appears to have been indented. It actually is indented. It's not a tab. Guys, I'm lazy. I don't want to sit there and hit tab and return and all that crap. I don't have all day. This is actually an indent, but you're like, oh, is this a separate copy block out here? And that's, no, this is all one continuous text box. Okay, but we want it to look something like this. And you're like, oh, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. I like a challenge. So in indents and spacing, we're going to have a left indent. I don't know what number yet. Probably whatever the tab's set up, but I haven't set my tabs yet. So let's say the left indent is, I don't know, 5.5 picas. It doesn't have to be that. You can have any number you want as long as it works. You're like, but wait a second. Article 1 is like supposed to be hanging out there in the left. How do you get that to hang out in the left if you're indenting from the left? Well, look just underneath this left indent. We have a first line indent. We do? Yes. We can make it minus. Look at Article 1 behaving so nicely. We can make the first line indent a minus number. Shut the front door. Usually I make it the same number as the left indent, just a minus, okay? So if my left indent was 5 pica, my first line indent is going to be minus 5 pica, okay? I make those two numbers identical with the exception of the minus sign. So if you, whatever number is here, copy and paste it into here and put the minus sign in there, and it will go back to where it's supposed to go, and these will all line up beautifully. If they're not lined up beautifully, we may have to fix a tab or something. I don't know, I'm gonna push the indent in more and see what happens. Nope, it's all good. Look at that behaving so nicely. Oops, I'm getting too click happy now. If I try to make the left indent smaller than the first line indent, it will give me this warning. Hey, can't exceed outside the text frame. That's because I was trying to do the left indent number smaller than the first line indent number. Well, not smaller. It's kind of weird because we're talking positives versus negatives. Those have to be the same. I like those to be the same number. Now, before today, you know what you would have done? You would have tabbed over from Article 1 to the first line of that description. You would have gone to the end of that line, you would have hit return, and you would have tabbed or spacebarred that over. Don't lie, I know you would have. And you would have spent all day doing it. Horrible, horrible stuff. And we have a question.
No.
Or are you just saying hallelujah? You guys, I do not want you to spend the quality, you guys, we are only given so much time on this earth, and let's make it good, right? I don't want to see you spend on a 100-page document, you going and hitting tabs and returns and space bars to get this to align right. We just did it in 5 seconds. This is the way to go. I know it's getting hot in here again, isn't it? Recording, we're having a fan break. Probably have one back there too you can turn on. It's the air circulating again. Better watch the hair. Okay, so we just did a miraculous thing in a matter of just a few seconds that normally for the average person would take many, many minutes, if not hours. Okay. So that looks pretty good. Now, in my, don't hit OK, you can stay here. I just have to go back to the PDF. In my PDF, you see that there are these beautiful lines between the paragraphs, and you'll notice too, there's space between the paragraphs. Oh, somebody must have hit the return key, and then they got their line tool, and they drew a line, and then they copied and pasted it several times. No, they didn't. They didn't do it that way. That's the way infants do it. But you are adults. You are fully grown, mature, well, debatable. You are fully grown adults. Don't know about the maturity part. So let's tell InDesign to do that for us, shall we? I thought so. We shall. Where is that? Well, let's go back to indents and spacing because there was some space between those articles. Let's see. That's a space after. Let's go like here where it says space after. Let's make that bigger. Let's see what happens. No! Look! It's doing it! That's fabulous! I didn't have to go in there and hit the return key an extra time, did I? And I did it in no time at all. If this was 100 pages, it would do it all to 100 pages. Okay? So that was the space after area, increasing that. Beautiful! I get it so almost it fits. Not all the way because we got to get some space after the Bill of Rights. Okay, that looks good. But now you're going, but what about those rules, those lines? Now do I hit OK and start drawing those in? Well, yesterday, yes, but today, no. Today is a new day. Where do you suppose I'm going to go to get the lines for this thing? Tabs, paragraph rules, paragraph rules. That's what they are. Now, this is kind of confusing because we call them lines. InDesign calls them paragraph rules. And you think, oh, rules like rules not meant to be broken, blah, blah, blah. No, these are rules meaning line, okay? So we're going to click on paragraph rules. And this is going to be a rule. Oh, is it above or below each paragraph? Ooh, I don't know. Let's find out. Let's turn on the rule above. Ooh, that doesn't look right. In the preview, it's not even above the paragraph. It's right along the baseline of the paragraph. I don't think we want it above there. Let's turn that off. Rule off. Where it says rule above, you click on that and you can choose rule below and turn the rule on. Okay, that's a little bit more like it, but it's not quite where I want it to be. That's okay, we'll fix that. So it's kind of underlying the last line. I'm going to zoom into this so you guys can see a little bit better from a distance here. Oh, gotta set my spacing again. No, you know what my number was. That's a cool thing. You guys don't have to know what the numbers are. You just do it till it works. This is the awesome thing. We design intuitively this way. I love it. I don't have to think. I just look at it and go, yeah, looks good. Next thing. Okay, so these paragraph rules, when I turn the rule below on, it underlines the last line, and that's not what I want. So I wanted to offset from that a little bit. So I want this to move down. Oh, well, here's the word offset. I wonder if that will work. Let's try. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's a miracle again. Yay. Boy, this sure beats drawing 10 different lines and centering them and getting them perfectly spaced, doesn't it? And you're like, well, you know, it didn't go all the way to the edges. Oh, okay, that's fine. Let's put a left indent on it and see what happens. Oh, I got to put a big number in. I'm going to put 10 picas just to see what happens. Whoa, look, it indented 10 picas. Look at that. Whatever my left indent is, I probably should have my right indent. You don't have to use 10 picas. I'm just doing it just because I want to. I'm like, oh, that looks pretty good. Now, you probably also want to choose what kind of style of line that you want here. Oh, that's in the type of line right here where it's solid. Oh, let's make it more interesting. Let's make it, I'm going to do thin thick. Oh, it doesn't show up. It looks like just a little skinny line. That's because when you deal with the types of lines, you oftentimes have to increase the width of the line so that it will do what you want it to do. Oh, and then when you increase the width of the line, you might have to readjust the offset because with the line being thicker, it doesn't look as centered. Man, this is too easy, is it not? This makes life too easy. I shouldn't teach this to you. Actually, I should. I want your lives to be quality. You can even change the line color if you want. Oh, let's get all patriotic. Let's make this stripe red. You can make it whatever color you want. Red stripe. And I'm not talking about the beer.
Do you have an extra line?
Well, it's the type of line here. This type is a thick on the bottom, thin on top line.
I mean, I have to, like after the paragraph.
Oh, let me hit OK. You're saying down here there's an extra one and you don't want it.
That one, like you have to.
Oh, that's because somehow or another the return key has been hit twice. Yeah, so you might want to go down there at the bottom and delete that extra return. You'll still have a line down there at the bottom, just one. We have to figure out how to kill that here in a minute. Yes, it's the odd guy out.
How did you get your line shorter?
Okay, how did I get the line shorter was the question. It's the right and left indents. So when you're in paragraph rules, you set the indent at like 10 picas, both on the left and the right, and it will indent from the left and right that many. It doesn't have to be 10 picas. You can do 16 if you want, or 8, or whatever. Another question? We're all good? Okay, no problem.
I think that's.
Dom?
I'm sorry, I'm stuck on getting the article 1's 2 all the way down to the on 5.6 minus 1.6. Because when I
You're still working on indents and spacing. Is that what you're telling me?
yeah, and I just wanted to know how to get the body text to be separate from the articles.
Okay, your left indent, set it at 6 picas, for instance. And then your first line indent, set it at minus 6 picas.
Okay, I have, but I
Okay.
have my first line being Article 1 through Congress, and it takes it all to the left.
I have to see what you have here. got the tab in, go to type show hidden characters. Yeah, I left my tabs in the Word document.
Oh, okay.
You just, yeah, you got to hit the tab key right before each of those things in this menu.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's your offset. So you can adjust your offset and it'll move whichever way. There you go. It looks good. There you go. Yeah, I mentioned in the Word document that the tabs were okay, and you got a little overzealous and took the tabbing out of the Word document because you being experienced, you know I'm taking out everything, but I knew the tabs were going to be okay. Okay, so that's why your stuff was doing. Let me get in here. Oops, your stuff
I had
was.
to change from my laptop to the Mac, so I got kind of lost.
Yeah, your stuff was doing that. But yeah, those tabs are what caused that. Okay, guys, it's pretty easy, isn't it? Once somebody shows it to you. Yes, Isaac.
Move this line on the title.
How do we get rid of the line on which one? Oh, you must have done a. Oh, did you have that selected when you did this? Okay, just make him normal. Normal one time. There you go. And then center. Okay. Yeah, you had him as an article paragraph style. So we just made him a normal paragraph style. All right. You guys good? Let's move on. Okay. I'm gonna hit OK for now. I'm gonna zoom out so I can see what I have to work with here. Okay, for me, because I was not zoomed out when I was looking at this, I still have a lot of space down here. I don't know for you if you have that same problem. But before I adjust that spacing, I think I will go ahead and add a little space after the Bill of Rights. Since the Bill of Rights does not use a paragraph style, it doesn't need to, there's only one of them. You know, it's when you have lots of things that look the same when you need to make a paragraph style. But there's only one thing styled like this. To add extra space after this, I'm not going to go to paragraph style because it doesn't have one. I'm going to go to paragraph formatting, the paragraph format control, which is the control panel at the top, the backwards P. And I'm just going to set a little extra space after that line. And if I look at these pictures, I know they're not very exciting, but one of them might be drop cap, space before, one says space after. It's the little arrow with a little box underneath what appears to be a paragraph, that's space after. I'm going to increase the amount of space between the headline and the rest of that copy. Let's just make it comfortable. Do it till it looks good. Okay? I'm not giving you any specific numbers, just do it till it looks nice. Again, this was not editing a paragraph style, okay? The Bill of Rights should not be an article description paragraph style. It should just be normal, the word normal here. And going to backwards P in the control panel, I'm setting the space after, okay? We do not hit the return key to get that extra space. From this day forward, never again do you need to hit the return key to get the space between paragraphs.
So do you go to, when you're adding the space, do you go to normal or do you stay on article description?
I do, okay, for the Bill of Rights, we did not create a paragraph style for that, okay? It by default says normal here. I do not edit the paragraph style here. I do the regular formatting here at the control panel by clicking on the backwards P and adjusting the space after the paragraph here. Of course, make sure the Bill of Rights is selected so you can actually do that. So this is not editing a paragraph style because I never created one for that headline.
If we do, is that
If you created one for the headline, then you can just edit the paragraph style and do it that way. But I did not create a paragraph style for this, therefore I have to go to the old-fashioned paragraph formatting that we've learned before. We learned the other stuff. before we're learning paragraph styles. Okay, so I want to get that space right before I started adjusting space for the rest of this document, because if I did all of this and got it perfectly spaced so it went down to the bottom, and I then had to add space here, well, it would create problems. It would squeeze that type out of there at the bottom.
Because I have a line above my Bill of Rights, so I have Bill of Rights highlighted, and I'm trying to do
Okay.
and it moves a lot.
Click on your Bill of Rights when you have it highlighted. Right now, you probably have article description selected in your paragraph.
No, I have normal.
No, normal? Okay. To undo the rule above it, click on there's a way out here in the far right, there's this little flyout menu, and you can go to paragraph rules and turn that rule off. Okay, so you may have to go from rule above to rule below, I'm not sure which one, but make sure rule on is unchecked. Okay? Did that take care of it?
No, I try to go through and just like highlight the line.
No, you can't highlight the line. The paragraph was okay. So my guess is then go to Article 1. My guess is your offset. So this might not. It's probably this line goes with that paragraph. Double click on your description. Okay, go to your paragraph rules. I told you guys to do rule below. So turn off the rule on, and go to rule below and turn it on. There you go. Now you're gonna have to offset it this way and redo that. Okay. Okay. Now all I have to do to this is adjust my spacing on this, and it's really going to be the space after the paragraphs that I need to adjust. I'll deal with the last line at the bottom because I need to kill that in a minute, but I'll deal with that last. But I simply would go into my paragraph. I just have it highlighted so you know where I'm at. Doesn't matter which paragraph as long as it's one of those article descriptions. I'm going to double click on the article description, and I do want to be able to see the whole page here, so you may have to zoom out before you grab your paragraph style and edit it or do your options here. So if you can't see your whole Bill of Rights, hit Command 0, not O for open, but Command the number 0, and that will show you the entire thing. You may even want to scroll over so it's pushed as far to the left as possible, so you'll see this when you get this other dialog box up. So get him so you can see the whole thing, and then double click on make sure your cursor is in the article description paragraph, double click on that article description paragraph style, and we can go to the paragraph spacing, indents and spacing, and we're going to adjust the space after until it looks phenomenal. Until that red line is almost at the bottom. Okay? Now, you will notice that every time you adjust the spacing, your paragraph rules, that offset will have to change to make it look better. So I have to go to the paragraph rules now in this panel here. And I'm going to offset that till it looks really nice. So it's kind of the domino effect. You know, one thing affects another. And that looks pretty good there. And when I like what I have and things are spaced out pretty well, I will hit OK on this. And I probably should save it as well. Now, there's two last things we need to do on this. One, I need to kill this paragraph rule at the bottom. He does not belong there, and he's crowding down into my line, and it's just horrible. In this case, what I would do is I would grab the last paragraph, and just put your cursor in there. I click on it so you can see where I'm at. And this one, we're going to have to manually strip that out, but you can't click on the line. This is kind of weird. It's like, okay, they're in there, but you can't click on them. For just this line only, I am not going to edit the paragraph style. what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the flyout menu on the control panel way out here to the right, and I am going to choose paragraph rules, and I'm going to turn that rule below off. Now, watch what happens before I hit OK. What you'll see here, over here in article description, right here, there's no plus sign next to this, okay? Not a single plus sign, it's just article description. If you do any formatting outside of editing the paragraph style, which is what I'm doing right now, I'm turning this rule off, but not through the paragraph style, I hit OK, you will now see that the article description has a plus sign on it. That plus sign tells me that for this paragraph, additional formatting was done that was outside of editing the paragraph style. You should have no plus signs on any text in this document with the exception of the last line. We should see that plus sign because we stripped away the paragraph rule, which is part of that paragraph style. Okay? Other than that line, there should be no plus signs next to the paragraph style. Okay, back to the PDF. Well, somebody really liked these articles to be bold and standing out from the description of the articles. So we are going to do something a little different with those. I'm going to help you out here. How many of you guys have watched Sesame Street? Everybody? Yeah, pretty much everybody. Let's get this ad out of the way here. We got lemons and beautiful things going on. Yum, yum. Yummy. Okay. When you're setting type, and you see something in a paragraph that is different, and you can kind of sing this song, you're going to need to do something other than paragraph formatting, paragraph styles, okay? So we're going to listen to what Cookie Monster has to say, and we're going to use this as a mnemonic device, which means we're going to help us remember. Let me turn this up.
Hi, hey, do you want to play a game now?
With
Okay,
the
here.
fans on, hold on, with the fans on, I'll turn it up even further. And you all know who Cookie Monster is, yes? Everybody knows that. He's international.
Now, okay, here, I help. One of these things is not like the other things. One of these things just doesn't belong. Can you guess which thing is not like the other thing? Before I finish my song. Now look closely. Look. Now something here. One of these things does not belong. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with how many cookies are on each plate. Okay? You ready? No? Okay, keep looking. I look too. This is hard even for a monster. Keep looking. Oh, did you guess? Oh, yeah? Did you guess which thing is not like the other things? Did you guess with all your might? If you guessed that this thing is not like the other things, you know what? You know what? You're right.
Okay.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
What can we sing? Well, let me make sure YouTube's not going to keep playing here. It will. Can we sing, in this paragraph right here, can we sing, which thing here is not like the other thing, which thing does not belong? Can we, I'm sorry, I'm off tune here. What thing is not like the other thing in this paragraph? Article 1, Article 2, Article 3. Those look different, but they're in the same paragraph. Okay. What letter does Cookie Monster start with? C. Okay. Cookie Monster is a character, isn't he? He's a character from Sesame Street. And we could sing that song. Cookie starts with C. Cookie starts with C. Cookie Monster starts with C. And Cookie Monster's a character. we are going to not use paragraph styles for these little bits of text. What style are we going to use? Starts with a C. Character styles. You never start with character styles, by the way. We do paragraph styling first, get it all beautifully fixed, gorgeous. The last thing we do is we deal with Cookie Monster and character styles and all that stuff. So I'm closing the character styles panel for a moment, or paragraph styles for a moment, so I can get to the character styles. I'm going to rip that off so we can see it a little bit better. Gee, I need to make a new character style out of that. Now, we're going to have to actually apply these to all of these. This isn't going to be as easy as the paragraph styles because I did not make a character style in Microsoft Word. So I am going to create a new character style. I just have them highlighted right now. And I'm going to, this is a little different than Word. Here, I am going to click on the Create New Style button, which is that little dog-eared page in the Character Styles panel. There it is. And it's called Character Style 1. Well, after it throws that Character Style 1 in there, then you have to click on it, double-click on it, and if you double-click on it just right, this should open up. If you double-click on it just wrong, it tries to rename it. Here we can rename it, and we can also change some formatting. So I'm going to call this Article Numbers. That makes sense, doesn't it? Article Numbers. And what do I want this to look like? Well, let's go to Basic Character Formats here in the Character Style Options control panel right here. And I am going to say, it says font family. I don't know. Okay, well, let's give you an idea. Arial Black. Oh, put preview on. You'll notice it only changes one because we haven't told Article 2, 3, and 4 that they are an article number yet. Like, okay, Arial Black, and what color do you want it? Oh, can I make a color? Yeah, sure, let's go. Oh, I'm going to make this one blue because this is all patriotic, red, white, and blue. My stripes are red, my paper is white, my article numbers are blue. And, you know, any other things. Now, underline options, do I want it underlined? Maybe I want it underlined. Let's try that. I can't see it very well. Maybe because I need to turn it on. There we go. Turn on the underline. You don't have to underline them. I'm just doing stuff just be fun. Like, okay, I like it 2, and I want the offset on there. Something, 3-point offset. Sure, why not? What color do I want the line? I'll make it red because this is red, white, and blue. You guys, this makes things so easy. You just got to read, keep your wits about you, and just go, hey, what's this do? Hit the preview on and go, oh, that's what it does. Now, even though I told it to make it red, it's blue because it puts the opposite color when it's highlighted. I'm going to hit OK and then deselect. Oh my gosh, I got all of that out of editing that character style? I did. Now, if I like that, then what I'm going to do now, this is a little bit of manual labor here. I do have to click and drag for this. I can't, if I double click, it's just going to get article. If I triple click, it'll get the whole line. So in this case, this is a click and drag situation. I'm going to click and drag over the words article and the number 2, and I say, hey, character styles, you're an article number. And then I click and drag over article 3, and I say, hey, you're an article number. And I do so with every single one. Now, this is a little time consuming, but you only have to do it one time. It'd be nice if I'd done this in Word, but same amount of time spent either way. I usually do my character formatting in InDesign because I really need to see what it really looks like, and in Word, I'm just faking it. I'm like, oh, that's so lovely. I should save. Now, let's say that some picky lady who teaches typography decides to tell you, hey, I really would like to see that not in blue. I really want to see that type in green, which makes no sense for this, but let's say I say that. Because you guys know I'm picky and I tell you what I think. Right? I'm particular. I want your stuff to look good. Now, not that green will make this look good, but I can turn all articles 1 through 10, all those characters, I can turn them green in a snap of a finger. So, first of all, I highlight one of them because the computer needs to know, what are you affecting? Select it, then you can affect it. I only need to select one of them, though. I don't even need to select the whole line of it. I'm going to double-click on article numbers to edit or modify that character style. And I can go in here to character color, and I say, oh, that picky Rebecca, she wants green. There we go. Look, they all turned green. Before today, you would have said, Rebecca, do you realize how long this is going to take me? I have to highlight each line and then go click on green. And I would have frustrated you. I know I frustrate you. I know I frustrate every student in this school because I want you to change stuff. And you're like, that's going to take me forever. I'm like, well, it won't take you forever if you're using paragraph and character styles. It'll take you that long. So I always tell folks, use paragraph and character styles because I will come up and I will tell you to change something. You got to change 100 to something, and it'll take you 0.5 seconds if you've used this character style or paragraph style. I really don't like it green, so I will make it cyan. We're not red, white, and cyan, but you know, it looks better. Other than maybe making this headline a little bit bigger, I don't like that headline, it's too small. And I don't, with the headline, it's not a character, it's not a style, so I'm going to go in here and do it. Other than making that headline bigger, I made the headline bigger, and look what happened. This is why you should work from the top down, because now I made my headline bigger, and I'm missing half of Article 10. Darn it. Always work from the top down on something like this. Get it right at the top, because now guess what I have to do? I have to go in and edit the spacing between every single one of these. So I'm going to go my paragraph styles, double click on the article description, go into spacing, and reduce the spacing after just a little bit. And now I have to get the offset on my paragraph rule to look nice too. It's a domino effect. One thing affects the other, but it's very, very fixable because I'm using paragraph styles and character styles. If I were not teaching you this method, I could have had this page done in less than 5 minutes. And if I had 100 pages of it, I could have had it done in less than 5 minutes. Okay? I'm talking quality of life, working smarter, not harder. This stuff is so important. There's industry professionals out there wasting their days, working till midnight because they don't know how to do this. And I'm giving you this at Ivy Tech for $19 a class. This costs you $19, but it will save you hours of your life. I'm saving this, I'm packaging it, and I'm turning it in, assuming it looks good and it's ready. And that's done. Now, if you didn't follow along really well, I'm here to help you. I also can save the video. I need to stop the video, by the way. You need to reference this video later on in your lives anyway, because you'll be doing resumes and things like that. And certainly if you're doing a resume and you're not using a Word template and you're doing it in InDesign like designers do, you definitely want to use paragraph styles and character styles, because in my portfolio class, if those students aren't doing that, they're spending hours on a resume trying to get the formatting right versus minutes.